Okay, hard at work on our next opponent and learn from the game today, and just all focus and energy is on trying to get a win at home on Saturday. So a lot of injury updates I could give you if you'd like. Hopeful to have Josh back at some point this week, and hopefully he's available for Saturday. If not, then we'd have to see where Modster is. He's got a broken thumb. He broke his thumb in that game, which led to Matt Matt going in and playing well. Need to find out where Jalen Phillips is, where Austin Roberts is, where Chris Barnes is, in terms of their health as we go through the week. So we've got some things to overcome there, but we've got some guys that are anxious and eager to step in and play. So just keep working hard, and that's what you do when you're trying to work through adversity. I think my role with these guys is to provide constant leadership and positive role model to try to teach them how to get through these tough times. This is all I've done my whole career, or my whole life really, since the day I was born, is have been that of the life of a football coach, whether it was the son of a football coach or as a football coach myself. And so when you decide to go into this profession, you know that there's going to be some ups and some downs, and there's not a coach that's ever coached that hasn't had some ups and some downs. Heck, I can remember in New Orleans, my dad, who was the first coach to ever take them to the playoffs, and I think did it 4 times. Heck, the first coach to ever lead them to a winning season after a couple of tough years, being in the Superdome, and I was working for him and looking up, and someone had taken a stuffed dummy with the name Mora across it and a noose around his neck and thrown it over to the side of the Superdome. I've heard about everything directed at me or directed at my dad that you could imagine. So when you get into this business, you realize there's going to be some tough times. There's going to be people coming after you, and you just have to be resilient, and you have to focus on what matters. And what matters to me is, like I said, is I'm charged right now with helping to develop some 17 through 21-year-olds and teaching them how to handle things like this. And as I said, being a consistent and positive leader and role model in their life. And so aside from trying to figure out ways to win games, that's what I try to do. And we talk about that a lot as a team, is how you handle adversity, how you overcome failure, how you stay positive in the face of overwhelming negativity on the outside or aimed at you or towards you, how you fight through that and continue to strive to be your best. In my years of coaching, I've had some really, really tough years and some really, really good years, and I'm not unlike any other coach. So that's our focus. So that's where we're at right now.
Did Modster hurt it on the follow-through of a pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow-through, hit a helmet, and it's a non-displaced fracture of his thumb. Okay. And so it's a matter of pain and swelling. He was amazing on the sideline. His fight to come back in. He said, shoot it up, give me a pill, tape it up, whatever you have to do. I need to go in and play with my teammates. But the fact of the matter is that he could not squeeze a football. He could not throw a football. He couldn't get his thumb to activate on the football, so he could not play. So as we go through the week, hopefully that swelling subsides and the pain subsides to the point where he can actually grip it and throw a football. But he desperately wanted to get back in there and help his teammates. It was tough.
And Josh is making progress through the protocol? Right?
Yeah, he's making progress through the protocol. But once again, as with all head, neck, and spine injuries, as we always have been since the day that I became involved, and I'm sure it goes way back before that, player safety has to be at a premium, especially at this age. It just must be. These are amateur athletes. They're not professionals. They're student athletes, and we have to watch out for their well-being.
INU and DA, are those season enders?
They are. DA, ACL, he'll have surgery in the next week or so. INU's was a terrible knee injury, and he's facing at least 3 surgeries. it was about as bad as they've seen around here. And when we got out to the field, his kneecap was on the side of his knee, ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but some type of, displacement in his knee. And he's facing a long, long road. And at least at this point, 3 surgeries to get where he can actually function.
Is that possibly career-ending?
I would think that it could potentially be. Hopefully, I know our medical staff is fantastic, and hopefully, they can get him back to where he can function without restriction. But that remains to be seen. It's a tough one. So.
Chris Barnes says that fluid buildup again. Is that something there's a concern that'll be an ongoing thing that he'll have to keep?
It is a concern.
Through?
It's the second time it's happened. It happened at altitude this time, and I think maybe that had something to do with it. But it's something that our doctors are acutely aware of, and they're running tests early this week, if not today, just to make sure that they've ruled everything out and that he is safe to return to play. So hopefully, for Chris's sake and for this team's sake, he'll be cleared and he can work through it's tough when you can't breathe during a game. It's tough to play.
Did Breland retire from football as well? Yeah,
I'd heard that there was an unfortunate exchange between one of our staff members. It was not a coach and Breland that took place, at 3 a.m. text, and it's been addressed with the staff member, not appropriate. Our record here shows that we are, as I said, player safety is a premium. I've gone back and looked at my exchanges with Breland. They've all been very, very positive since the day he retired. And we just, hope and pray that he can have a productive career here as a student at UCLA and reach his passions and dreams, off the football field. But, we certainly want to make sure that we're always offering support. But, it was an exchange that took place at, I guess at 3 in the morning, and a poor choice of words, and it's been addressed. Because that's not really part of what we do or how we talk around here. It never has been, and it really shouldn't be.
So the way you played at the Rose Bowl, how much hope and optimism does that give you going into this game, being 4-0 there, having played some of your best defensive games there?
Well, I'm always full of hope and optimism. I come back every week. As I said, when you've done this for, I don't want to say how old I am, but I'm old. And this is the only thing that I've ever done in my life, is coach and be a part of a coaching family since the day I was born. So you learn valuable lessons along the way, which hopefully you can transpose to your players. But one of them is that you have to come back every week and attack it. You have to step back and you have to analyze, what's happening on a consistent basis, whether you're winning or losing. You have to formulate a new plan of attack, and then you have to implement that plan with enthusiasm and energy and vigor and a positive attitude. And that's kind of how I've tried to live my life, always looking towards the positive while not being oblivious to, the issues at hand.
At this point, how much are you talking about a possible bowl bid?
We don't. We talk about trying to win the game we're playing. Really that's what we try to do. In our years here, we've been successful. I think, we've had one losing season, and right now we're 4-5, but the end result has not been determined. We've always tried to concentrate on being the best we can that week and focusing all our energies on the task at hand. I think I might have said it last week is, the objective is to win the fight you're in. And I don't want to, say that a football game is a fight, but maybe the contest that you're in is, focus on that and win that contest, and not worry about contests in the past or contests in the future, but just worry about or concern yourself with or focus on and put all your energies into that contest. And so that's what we try to do every week.
The dip in offensive efficiency is just as simple as not having Josh for a game and a half, not having Lasley, not having Caleb Wilson.
Not having Austin Roberts.
Darren Andrews and Austin Roberts.
Yeah, we lost a lot of yardage. And early in the year we lost Nate Starks, and that also affected our running game. So, players make plays. Players, that's why they're out there playing, and, other guys are not. They're maybe not playing football, or they're on the bench or serving on the practice squad. Everyone has their role, but you know, players go make plays, and we've lost a tremendous amount of production offensively between Caleb and Jordan and now Darren, and obviously with Nate early, and then with Austin recently. So there's been some challenges, and then obviously without Josh last week. So you know, guys step in and they do the best they can, and they work as hard as they can to reach their potential. But you know, there's levels of ability and there's levels of experience that matter, especially when the injuries start to compound like they have.
Does Rick Wade have a chance of returning this week?
Yeah, Rick played last week. Yeah, Rick played a little bit last week. He got several plays last week.
Arizona State runs the ball well. I think they had 380 yards against Colorado last week. What are the challenges that they presented?
You know, they really, in that fourth quarter, they really committed to the run. I think they ran at 20 of their last 24 plays. And if those aren't the exact numbers, they're very, very close. They've got 3 really good running backs, you know, really good running backs. They've got a quarterback who's got mobility. And then they've got receivers that can make plays down the field as well. So you can't just take everybody and commit them to the run. You know, one of our problems stopping the run this year is, well, probably our main problem has just been a lack of consistency, you know, in our run fits with our front 7 or front 8, depending on our front. We have a talented group of young men playing up there, but they're very inexperienced. You know, the only guys with experience, really any tangible experience, are Kenny Young and Jacob Tuyatu Mariner. The rest of those guys, you think about the linebackers and Chris Barnes and Keyshawn, you know, really haven't played much. Or you think about Boss or Chicoze or Osa. Those guys haven't, Jalen, they haven't played a lot. Marcus Mora, they haven't played a lot. They're talented, but they're, you know, the inexperience, when you're playing with inexperienced guys, you tend to have inconsistency. I said after the game, I don't know that I've ever been through anything like this before, and then I reflected on it back to when I was the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, and there was a game in New Orleans where we started 7 rookies. And at one point looking out on the field, and 9 of our 11 players were rookies. And it was really a tough stretch there. But that experience that those guys gained by playing, because they were talented players, led us to become a really good defense, you know, over the next several years, which, you know, allowed me to, you know, go on and you know, be a head coach. I owe it all to those guys, you know, maturing and playing. But there was some dark days when you were playing with some very young players. So I have been, you know, I thought I hadn't been through this before, but actually, when you've been doing it as long as I have been, you've really been through everything. Anyway.
You got away from the targeting, but then you had another one.
Yeah.
When you went back and looked at it, what were your thoughts of that one?
I just think it's an incredibly difficult rule to enforce on the sideline. You know, we just looked at a play from the Arizona State-Utah game where a running back dips, I mean really dips, and attacks the corner, and the corner has no alternative but to, you know, try. He's actually trying to cut the legs out of the runner, and they make helmet-to-helmet contact. I'm not sure what the result is, but if you go by the definition of the rule, it was a targeting call. So I think that once again, you know, the rule makers will need to, you know, seriously consider adjustments to, you know, how that call is judged, or if not judged, at least how the penalties are enforced. Because, you know, losing guys on what really are routine tackles on the sideline, and that's where it's been a problem for us. I think the ones that are, you know, out in the open and defenseless receivers, those are obvious. But when it's 2 guys that are running and they're meeting at a point of impact, and they're both lowering their head because that's what you do naturally, and you're not lowering it and taking a guy on head on where you're going to get hurt, but you're lowering it to scrunch your shoulders, you know, and tighten your neck so that you can protect yourself. That those are, you know, the penalty is just so severe. It's so severe. So, but we just continually have to talk about lowering the target, you know, and then you worry about what happened to Inu, you know. So it's a tough situation right now for defensive players.